Have you ever heard this? If you have, listen.
About all that.
Austin Baker. Thanks for bro. Thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Man.
Like rolling through.
Absolutely. I love podcasts. I'm always
Dude.
down to hop on
Yeah,
one.
man.
Have some
You're
fun.
looking good. You're looking comfy, nice and.
Yeah, man. Nice
Yeah,
chill
bro.
day off. Monday's usually a day off. I just have a few lessons on Monday, and then
Okay.
that's it. But
Dude, that's the true life of a. You've got a lot of hats you wear.
always,
Yeah.
too many. Dude.
You've got.
It's super stressful keeping up with all of it a lot of the time. I mean, it's a blessing. I mean, it's a gift to have your phone ringing. Obviously, it's a beautiful thing. But yeah, like having to play all these roles and juggle all the responsibilities and constantly have your phone blowing up when you're just trying to relax on your off days is good problems to have. But it's
Yeah.
its own overwhelmingness sometimes.
Well, it's good to be busy, in the game in this game.
yeah, you have to.
I mean,
Or you won't make rent. If
Yeah.
you don't stay busy enough, you ain't gonna pay your bills. So
yeah. Well, and we talk about on like this podcast before with other people, like your pay your rent type gigs, and then you're like, this is for my love of the game type gigs. Do you still get to do your love of the game gigs too?
yeah, somewhat. I recently got plugged into doing an original
I
project.
think they're important, right? Would you agree?
Absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Because everybody knows that cover band gigs usually pay a lot more than the original, and then that's what a lot of the bars are looking for. That book is to play songs everybody's familiar with and keeps people dancing and buying drinks there, right?
Sure.
And then then you play the same 100 songs in rotation that you've played a million times. You can play them in your sleep. You can literally like watch a movie or watch a game at the bar that's on while you're playing your parts and not make any mistakes at all and just zone it. And so it's like that's kind of autopilot, which is fun. But then the original music stuff is its own kind of thing too.
Yeah.
It's
No,
just
for sure.
It could be a lot more rewarding in the respects of putting out other people's music, kind of making other people's dream come to life. Which as a drummer, that's really important. You're a rhythm section member, so you have to embrace that role and to know that in the cover band scene you can grow more in your opportunities for gigs and money making. But there's a certain cap of and there's the enjoyment thing. Yeah, it becomes like work, and you never want to fit. This is supposed to be art. Therapy.
Well, that's
And if it feels like just work and going through the shifts, shift work, it's like that you're in the wrong biz because there's better ways to get a paycheck if that's what you're in.
No, for sure, bro. That's one of the main reasons I don't pursue it like drumming because I've been playing since I was 11, bro. I mean, I'm pretty solid when my chops are
I've seen you
on
play.
point. Yeah,
a few times,
dude. So, but and I think realistically, because I've seen cats around. Like there are definitely cats. I'm like, oh fuck. But there are also cats. I'm like, dude, I could I know these guys are doing it. Like I could do. I'm on a level where I'm like, all right. But it's like that exactly what you said. I'm like, I'm afraid that if I start getting paid for it, it's going to take the fun out of it for me.
Yeah, I've always considered the same thing too. When you see like a big touring act and play in a giant venue, and you think like, if I was in that guy's shoes, could I do that job as good as or better than that person? Even if that guy is a true blue vetted professional for decades, it's like you think, I totally could. If I had the time to prepare, I could totally be in his shoes, in his position. So yeah, it's always interesting, just to kind of analyze that from afar and realize, like, what's he doing that I couldn't do? It's like nothing really. I mean,
practicing.
Yeah,
dude. Ultimately, I mean, because that's what separates. How much do you practice? Like,
I don't practice.
You don't practice?
I play.
Okay.
Play as in like, I don't set. I have my days in the university where I was doing 6 hours a day of practicing 5 days a week. You know what I'm saying? That grind of just relentless, nonstop. Had very specific etudes or books I was working out of, and had to a really awesome professor overseeing that at all times. And that, you grow really hardcore at that level. But then at this point, any chance to just get up and pick up the sticks and play for just like 10 minutes of just improvising on whatever is coming to your eye, just basically a creative outlet to just explore, and also for the sake of the neighbors to not drive them crazy having hours of drumming coming in there. And so it's like, I'll get an itch, I'll feel creative, I'll walk by, I'll sit down, play for 10, 15 minutes of play. It's like exploring ideas and creativity as opposed to like a strict regimented practice of this new thing. I always try to look for new things to practice that I can't do still and dig in on it. But like the whole regime of that I used to have and stuff at university, it's not that I'm growing complacent or anything. It's just I find more joy and fulfillment of unlocking new things that come out of just that kind of free play and
Yeah.
the ability to just sit back and explore and jam out. you
That's
know?
why I love jamming, dude. Because
Yeah.
to me, like, and I don't know how involved you might be, but I'm sure you're aware of like there's a jam scene in Austin. There's a lot
For
of
sure.
jams that occur
There's tons.
any given days or nights, and like I just actually ran into my buddy Steve, who I might have next week actually on here, who he and Lou Elman co-own a bunch of venues, but. Dude, we used to have some epic jams there, and he like sent me a track that I fucking forgot. It was like one late night doing whatever, and it's like listening back, I'm like, damn, like I was actually not like it's nice, it's vibe,
Yeah.
But it's like all these things that come out in a jam. It's like you just go in with no plan, and it's like it's
Yeah,
fun.
what
It's like
interesting
open space.
is when the pandemic kind of, Austin was one of the first places to have live music back in full effect after the pandemic, right? That's why I joined in with the band I'm with now in October, and we just hit the ground from there. But I feel like in that 2021, 22 era, there was the jam culture was just so vibrant and strong because everybody's just getting back into it. And now, as we know, there's several residencies on town that have kind of open feel and let everybody sit in and come have some fun and jams. It just, the excitement, like there was a weird time, like that was when I was still teaching elementary and I had my, summers off. So I would go try to every one of those nights of the week, go find a new place to go play and go, do all this stuff. And those things have become, it seems to me, just everybody's just trying to circle jerk each other on stage. That's all it is. It's just, look at me now, look at me now, look at me now, look at me now.
Well,
and just
it
over
can
and over.
be.
It's like, I get that.
It can be.
And that's all fun. Like what these people do is amazing and beautiful, but it's just like, I don't know. It's become something different, I think, even over the past couple years. Like the hype was just so, and excitement was so real and live all over the place in 21, 22-ish. And then whether it's just me not going to them anymore or just whatever, it's like you've seen them. You've seen the ways of some of them go, they start popping off and they're super packed every week. Then all of a sudden it's back down to hardly anybody there. And it's just like the buzz in that post-pandemic was like,
There was like, yeah, for sure. But I think too, like it chilled out. Like I haven't been to as many kind of jams as I had been back more like, I would say for me, like 2022, 2023.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. So homeboy I just ran into, he's like, I was like, so what are you doing for the 4th? He's like, I was like, jammage? He's like, bro, dude, I'm like, please, I need it. It's like therapy, bro. It's like, it's a release when you get like, cause again, like what you were just saying about like the cover gigs, it's not just they pay, but the monotony of going through those motions of doing those things. It's like you're not challenging yourself. You're not really, you're sitting, you're trapped inside this cover box.
Yeah.
And then, but like breaking out of that, that's why I love like what you see the homies. Which I don't know if you hit Thursdays ever with them.
I think I've been once or twice, yeah, and that's definitely like
think of it as
amazing
like
musicians at that one.
Think of it as like pros jamming on top of like they'll take a framework of an actual song and then just go run for 10 or 15 minutes with it, and it's like the shit is crazy, but it's like experimental.
Yeah,
but it's like it gives like the opportunity to get outside of the.
A lot of those, what I've
bullshit.
noticed, becomes a volume contest, as in like we're in this tiny room, everybody wants to be heard and get their 2 cents in, and then that's when it becomes that kind of like,
right.
Oh, you take, and then it's just like it just becomes a big ego.
See, and that's what I do. Like, okay,
it's
so
weird. It's great. Like I say, what they do is amazing, and I love watching it. I'm always learning every time. I see it as like a master class. I go watch and I was like, wow, all these people are so incredible to me. But it's like a cacophony.
Charles Reed, bro.
Of just all of them. We don't even have to name drop.
No, but
it's understood. It's mind blowing what they do. But then it just becomes sometimes it's a cluster of sound and noise in a very, very small room and setting, and everybody's digging in full volume, and it's just. If you leave your earplugs behind, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it can get wild for sure. But
I haven't been to enough though.
It's
just
like
once or twice.
Yeah, and I like to go too because I'll get up and sing occasionally too with them, and it's fun. But like I wanted to ask you too because you said that you're kind of speaking on something, and I'm curious about a general question of yours towards you with like your everything you do. It's like navigating the fakeness, So like, out here, like there's a lot of cats and a lot of people. It's just, it can be so fucking dumb sometimes, bro. Like just the way that people will like, feel like the slide or what, and it's just the little pettiness of things. And I'm not singling out any specific person or any specific situation, but in a general sense, I'm sure you've navigated
Absolutely,
like that.
Man. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors, if you want to put it, where there's a lot of, let me get a nice little hat with a feather in it and wear all these cool things on my hands and wrists and look the part like some, eclectic man of the world up there on stage. And it's just like, the proof is in the pudding is the way I see it. You know what I mean? Like when I see a lot of these people around, it's like there's a lot of mediocre musicians in general in Austin. Like I said, nobody specifically comes to mind, but like I've always made it a mission to try to find and seek out some of the best that I actually admire as a musician and what they do. And it's the proof is in the pudding. Those people are usually just overflowed with work that it's unbelievable. And it's like, and all those other people are just trying to, wear a costume and look a certain, persona and just kind of like whether they're experienced or not, it's just like, but when you look at it from the outside, I don't see anything special except the costume or, whatever, like the aesthetic. So there's a lot of people just kind of able to get work and consistently work and get booked for gigs. But when you at face value, like there's nothing that amazing or great about them. You know what I mean? And
no, you're reminding me of one person in particular, and I'm not naming names, right?
I
don't want to name any names. But this gentleman, I was at a thing recently, and this was like an event that was like a private thing, but it was like I was invited by the person putting it on and like producing it, so taking care of, and the person she booked. Like they were running the music and stuff. So I was like, I'd asked her previously, like, hey, could I sit in? And she's like, yeah. So I'm like, cool. And I'm like, whatever, impatient, whatever. Mm-hmm. But this person, the one that and he's known around town. He plays gigs around town at venues. I'm like, bro, you're not talented enough to be this big of an asshole. You're
exactly.
Like some people are an asshole, but they're so talented that it just kind of gets. They get away with it.
Yeah, that's
not even then.
That's a trait of greatness outside. Consistently, you see your Steve Jobs, your Michael Jordan, your Kobe's. They're not.
But it's like you can't even play Hotel California on guitar.
Exactly.
So.
But if they're the best of the best of what
he knows
they do,
who he is.
they have the right to be able to, flex that. Whether they choose to do that or be humble and modest is a different story. But what I find is all the people around town, they're never like that. They never treat others like that. They never interact or engage like that. They know they have nothing to prove. They know how great they are.
Right.
And they usually treat everybody with grace, kindness, and acceptance and openness to not, to try to, respect the position that people put them in and bring others up to that position instead of lowering themselves to those or getting insecure about when other people are starting, feather up all their different insecurities and those things come to light. Yeah, people get very defensive and then they get very asshole-ish, for lack of a better term, just for no necessary reason. And I don't ever want to work with people like that. It's like that's part of the gig. Whether you're a hire gun or you're hiring the people won't continue to work with you or for you if you're not fun to be around. And if you are that great at what you do, you can choose to be like that. You can be mean and belittle all the people around you.
It doesn't mean you should be.
But it doesn't mean you should be, right?
Yeah.
And all the greatest, drummers, as your Steve Gads and all these other people, like, I don't know, like everybody, the most friendly people you'll ever meet, like they're the sweetest, most kind, generous soul, and because they have nothing to prove, and they don't get insecure by other greatness surrounding them, right? It's when you shine too much in the greatness format around them, and they start getting really insecure and try to do whatever they can to sabotage you or make you look bad. That's a big red flag.
And also, bro, another big one: you don't drink. That's a
huge thing, man.
Dude, I just passed 3 years,
nice.
And you said
Congrats.
you were at 8. Thank you, bro.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
Man.
8
years,
bro. Can we talk about that? Like, that's crazy, man.
Absolutely.
It's
totally
not easy either, bro. Doing what you do,
exactly.
It's not easy.
It's hard to navigate, and it took a while. It took about that first year and a half, 2 years to completely stay away from those scenes. To then, when I was able to go back into those environments without having to have prerequisite of 3 shots before you get on stage, and that kind of, or having the car bar in the trunk that you're, swigging out to not, even spend any money on your bar tab or whatever there. And it's just like, when that was the standard before, and then, once that completely goes out of the picture, your tolerance for people getting too drunk or all their antics and other, like, it goes very low as far as, who you associate with professionally, right?
Yeah.
There's people that can have a few drinks and hold it together. You'll never see them get too sloppy. But a lot of these people use these gigs or venues or the open bar at these venues as their vehicle to get drunk and make a little money while they play some music. And to me, like, I have no tolerance for it. But even if I'm not the one looking bad and or people's fingers aren't working because they had too much to drink or whatever, it does make me look bad. And the secondhand embarrassment I feel being on stage with them in general is something that just sets a bad image of in my mind about, like, I don't want to be seen or portrayed in this light, or I have a hard time like suppressing my feelings of frustration when those things happen, because especially when it's something that, and they make mistakes they never make, and it's literally only because of impairment, because they're just having a great time. It's like, no, we're here to make money. I'm here to get this bread. I'm here to always get this bread and enjoy it. I enjoy it too, but I'm in it to make money. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in these environments.
Yeah. Well, like, and dude, with the drinking too, it's an interesting thing, because I feel like what you said is accurate. That there is, to a certain level, like, you can have a couple. Like, I remember when I was still drinking, like, before doing like stand up, it could take the edge off.
Of course.
And
that's
it's
always turn the nerves into excitement.
Yeah, exactly. And loosen that up and open up the channel, but it's like, but even those people that are good about, like, they can do that, even those people, like, it's a thin line. You have to, like, like, where you get into, like, oh, now I'm sloppy. Now I'm missing notes.
And that usually happens toward the end of the night, end of the show. And that doesn't matter. Like, for me, it's like, I have very little tolerance for that. And, which is why, like, my bandmates are usually pretty straight. That co-host at my karaoke gigs, he's never we don't drink. We just sit there, have a great time, and people watch and just make fun of everybody.
Bro,
it's just a great time.
I say this, dude. You and I are, number one, dude, we're similar in a lot of ways. We're both drummers. I've also been a karaoke host in the past. And dude, it's hilarious, bro, because, being a drummer in a band, doing stand-up, it's like some pretty big shows and stuff. And then just like from the karaoke days, I never had more women throwing themselves at me than karaoke, dude.
Dude, it's wild.
It's crazy.
It's an interesting thing,
right?
Just, they
drummer in a
band's
band's supposed to get all the women, right?
Love the attention. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's the power.
The drummer, what I've noticed is, is the drummer's in the back. Where he gets the attention. He's a rhythm section. Remember, he's a supportive role. Most of the eyes are on the lead singer, the main front-facing person, right? Yeah. And then now that I'm the front-facing person in this karaoke thing, it has been a very interesting noticing these changes in attention or whatever it may be. And whatever you want to do with it is always of the, obviously a lot of those things are never, a great idea to pursue or get yourself involved
luckily
with,
you don't
period.
drink, though.
Exactly. So then
you stay out of trouble.
You keep your head on straight. You don't make bad decisions you wouldn't normally make not under the influence of those things and in those environments. But yes, it is a very interesting thing to notice and see. But it's all really, I think, an attention thing. They like to have to know that they can get your attention when you're the main attention in this environment.
Like, you hold the power to give them platform them.
I guess so. Yeah. Or
you're like the moderator
in some way, and it's a weird thing.
It is.
Like, if it comes down to you actually talk to them and you get their number and try to hit them up later because you think they're actually interested in you, and then it's like, no, this is at that time and place and that night they were feeling you, they were vibing,
bro. They
wanted to get your attention because everybody's looking at you and they want. It's a weird.
Dude, a number don't mean shit these days, bro. Exactly. A number don't mean a fucking
nothing really does
thing.
It really doesn't.
It is so bad, bro.
That's why I just stopped. I don't really even care to. You're not going to see me pursuing anything or pursuing anybody. Like, it's not worth
I'm
the
like
stress.
I'm in the I do not chase attract era. That's where I'm at. Because I'm like, I'm not opposed to something.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not.
Of course.
But I'm like, the game is so unbalanced in terms of leverage that as a dude, the minute you sense any sort of flake, like, you gotta just let them flake out. Because, dude, like, that's the only, if anything will differentiate you, it's gonna be that.
Yeah.
Because, like, most of these dudes they're gonna, like, And it's, bro, the attention economy, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, what I notice if you go seeking these things or seeking after intimacy, companionship, connection, and all that, you're just gonna attract all the wrong shit into your orbit. That's it's like it's just inevitably the same thing. But if you just completely let go, focus on what you should be doing and delivering joy to all the people in this place or whatever, and just keep your head down, then yeah, some things will come to you. But if you go seeking those things, you're only going to end up with, in a bad situation. That, at least in Austin, Texas. That's
well,
what
and
I've
also
come to realize.
another one, the not drinking.
Yeah.
Is a big part of it.
That's a big part too.
It makes it, dude. I bet more women have, because I actually literally have had one woman that just straight out told me, she's like, I think that you don't drink, and that's good. Obviously she's not like saying it's bad, but like she just didn't see it as like conducive to like a lifestyle, like similar to her, and it made sense and it's understandable. But it's like, I wonder how many women I've talked to that felt that same way, but just they thought they were being polite.
They don't say it,
so you don't know. But I feel it. Like it's weird because you set out and you're like, I'm doing this great thing for myself, bro, and it's gonna be great, and it is great for you, but it's like it doesn't change others.
Yeah,
and that's the thing with alcohol, bro. Like, it still affects you even after you stop drinking in just other ways, Yeah,
every time you tell somebody
Secondhand.
you don't drink or whatever, they always immediately tell you about their drinking journey or think, oh man, yeah, I've been really trying to cut back myself, and it's become real.
So
they
true.
always say that, but
So true.
It's just like, it's like, I didn't. Well, that's great. I mean, that's good that you're doing that, but I'm not trying to talk about.
Or they tell you about that time they stopped drinking for a month, 8 years ago.
Or it's
You're
like,
all right,
it's just
go.
basically my response to they buy me a drink. Oh, you want a drink? It's like, I don't drink, thank you though. You can give me ice water though. But even that, I don't do that because people, rainy street killers and all that stuff running around dropping stuff in people's drinks. So I drink bottled water on stage, and that's all I rock with. And that's, but yeah, when people offer you a drink and you decline and you tell them you don't drink, they're like, what? What are you doing here? What are you doing? It's like, I'm here making money. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Spending money, right? I was like, I don't know, but that's just, and unfortunately, as a musician or entertainer, that's where a lot of your income comes from, is these environments and these kind of bar settings. And eventually, I'll be out of that. And then, and try to be out of those environments and hopefully focus on more private wedding stuff and exclusively that, or the management side of things.
Dude, you've kind of got the toolkit to really be like a great like wedding, basically MC.
Yeah, my next goal
because
is
you could lead a band on top of, or you could just DJ.
Exactly. So the next thing I was trying, some overarching entertainment like company or event where I have DJs, karaoke people, and bands all under my belt, as in people would reach out and they, you just get a commission just for getting them and wherever they go to, and, work out the great deals and take care of your hired people, but also get money for not having to be there. But you can be there on the particular gigs you like or choose to be, like, and that's kind of where I want to be at too. Because as a musician, you can only be in so many places at once, right? Obviously, if you could clone yourself, that would totally change the game and all that too. But if you fill up your calendar with 6 shows a week, 6 days a week, you're going to burn out real quick. And then that's not going to help you or the music or anything else around you. So in that case, okay, well, how can I capitalize on income and make money? It's like to find ways to make passive income and not have to be a million places at once. And I think that comes more from the management booking side of things. And I've learned I've learned from all the other agents, booking people, venues in town, to know that I think I could do that well and have a good roster of venues as well as entertainment under my radar to keep people and just collect money from helping them facilitate.
And it's getting the right people around you, because doing it, like starting an endeavor of any kind, like if you're trying to scale it, you're going to need other people around you to help see that through. And it's like the right groups of people are important for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out, is to create. I'm trying to work on the branding for the karaoke thing now, for the personal thing, but on top of that, come up with some overarching like entertainment branding, because I turn 36 next month, and I'm trying to figure out what can I do by the time I'm 40 to be out of the bars for all my income. It's basically like, if I'm trying to be, a husband and a father, like these lives, being in the bars all the time is not really conducive to that. People that have done it and can do it and have a partner that's understanding of that, but a lot of the times it's just so conflicting with everything else in the schedule of what the traditional husband or father role looks like.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Kabaza knows, or his family knows all about that, because this dude does the anti-normal schedule. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%,
It's
bro.
tough, man.
I will say though, bro, like one thing I respect about you is you're like you clearly like you take care of your business aspect as much as your creative aspects and like what you're doing, you know, musically. 20K followers, bro. Congrats on that. I saw your little post.
That today,
your little
man.
big post. That's great, man.
Crazy,
Dude, that's
man. Pretty
I was
crazy.
curious because as like a small, you know, right now trying to grow. How much of that, like, what does that growth look like for you in terms of your like your presence, and how does that? Do you feel like you've seen like that in terms of like gigs when you're out with, now that you've gotten like a presence, like hey, I post this thing, like you know, turns out.
Yeah, what's really interesting is you meet people that, you know, come up and introduce themselves and say hi, and they know who you are just because what they saw you on Instagram or through a connection, or you might even be
saw a
friends
Cody
with
Kai
them.
Cast clip.
Oh, exactly. Wow, isn't that incredible? Right? But yeah, basically they see you at these things. They come introduce yourself, and you're like, oh, I'm friends with you on Instagram. It's like, oh, great. What is your? And then you look, it's like, oh yeah, I've seen you on there too. But it's like you only know them in that digital realm. But then it's really cool being recognized by what you feel is a stranger, but they already know like plenty about you, and they run into you at all these different places around town. It obviously makes you feel pretty good when people just recognize you as some, you know, either there's somebody they look up to or admire as a musician, and you admire them too, or whatever. But I always like connecting with people. I always love hearing like people that, you know, find you on those digital platforms to know that you're a musician around town, as opposed to just being in every single venue, because you know, a lot of these venues don't pay enough, so you ain't gonna see me in a lot of these venues. But
dude, it's wild to me. There's some cats around town, dude. I had Willow and Gage on, you know, and it's like,
he's
like you're out here. This dude is too talented to be not doing better. And I'm not saying he's like, you know, he's doing it, but he's making his living. But it's like he should be not just making a living. He should be.
Yeah, no, he's so nasty.
Too talented. It's crazy.
Right.
Dude, there's so many.
He's a freak. Like there's so many good, and it's a very sad thing. It's disheartening to see such amazing, talented people like taking less than they deserve just because they have to, or they get their kicks out of who they're playing with. You know, there's all the ways of, you know, is this going to help me grow as a musician? Do I like the people that I'm playing with? Is it making me money? You know, those three things, you know, if you got 2 out of the 3 things, you're usually good, right? And it's like, but if you only got 1 out of the 3, it's usually juice is not worth the squeeze. And so it's like, I always, you know, I'm very picky about who I'll play with or take the time to get it, because people reach out all the time, whether the gig doesn't really pay enough or not. But if the gig doesn't pay enough, but it's somebody I really admire as a musician or whatever, I'd be willing to work with.
You did some post-Spurs games gigs, didn't you?
Yeah, I was just talking to him about that. Yeah, with the rocking the Spurs hat.
Fucking
yeah,
A,
3 so far. We usually play around wintertime, sometime around Christmas, right? Where we'll play in the courtyard at the entryway. We'll play like a 15-minute set at half. Yeah, pregame, and then a little postgame, like an hour postgame set as people.
I imagine the win or loss has a big impact on how great that is.
No, for sure. Dude. And then they have the curfew. The security starts immediately kicking people out. So it never goes up. But I was telling him I always sneak courtside during that. As soon as we finish our like modern game set, I'm immediately just beeline into a center corner of the shot and just get to watch some of my favorite NBA players from just literally a stone's throw away from them. And it's freaky to see these people. Everybody knows, oh, they're so much taller in person, but sure, like, no, but these people look like superhuman in person. They don't look real. Like, I was talking to him about Wemby. Like, dude literally does look like an alien.
I haven't seen it. I want to see him live.
You see him close, like from courtside. Yeah. And it's like his arms and legs are so long that it just like feels like you're looking at a foreign entity. Like
I'm sure.
Like an AI somebody is like, it doesn't look real. It's for real.
It's unreal like what he can do at that size.
Exactly.
Nobody,
because he's
there's
young.
never been well, no, but it's not just that he's young. It's like there's cats that, like, look at Chet Holmgren. Yeah. He's like a year or 2 older than Wemby, but he's not even in the same ballpark in terms of I've seen some videos of Wemby like stretching. That dude's got like insane flexibility, bro. He can do the splits. Like he can like literally like
he can palm a ball.
Like the dude's like doing yoga or some shit, bro.
Thumb and middle finger.
But like ultimately, dude. But ultimately, keeping your body in that like the most limber, like that's gonna be the best regimen to keep your body healthy over time, you know.
It's just
the thing that took him out last year was a fucking blood clot. It had nothing to do with fucking, you know.
He's gotta keep his joints healthy, make sure his knees don't. It's like all those little things are what's gonna, you know,
bro.
Of his stature.
Did you see fucking LeBron took his $52 million to come back? I'm like, what a fucking dipshit, dude. Bro, fuck you. LeBron, I hope you're listening. Fuck you and your podcast. Dude, it's so much. It's all about LeBron, dude.
Oh, of course.
It's
He's always
all
been like
about.
that.
It always has been.
Which
That's
is
why
his
nobody
biggest criticism.
And his other problem, he wants to be liked too much.
Yeah.
You know what made Jordan the best ever? He didn't give a fuck if you liked him or not.
Well, it
he
was
didn't give
more
a fuck.
so. It was more so he didn't have to tell anybody he's the greatest. LeBron will openly say,
That one right there
I'm
made me the greatest.
of all time."
Shut the fuck up.
And it's like if you're the greatest of all time, the proof
need
is
a
in the
viral
pudding.
clip.
You don't have to. You don't have to say you're the greatest. But he
Exactly.
constantly says, "Yeah, I'm the greatest to ever play the game," and that immediately says, "No, you're not." There's just that in general. But
Anybody that actually wants to have that debate with me, I don't respect your basketball. I don't respect you as a fan.
yeah, well, it's usually
there's
somebody from the
no
younger generation.
there's no
I mean,
conversation.
that's-
There's none.
yeah.
So,
exactly.
dude, 10 scoring titles, 10.
Yeah.
10. Dude, every single finals he won the MVP. Dude, never lost. LeBron's lost as many as Jordan won.
Yeah.
And he also played in the East when it historically was super weak for a
Yeah.
long time, bro.
Yeah, I have no opinion either way. I mean, he's definitely great, but I don't even think he's top 5 all time personally. Top 10, I think for sure, but
He's a stat stuffer.
People argue for hours about these kind of things, but Kobe's my GOAT. Kobe's always
Dude,
gonna be
I was
my
just
GOAT.
gonna say, bro, there's certain
Kobe.
players who strike, or like in the past, legends, they struck fear into the hearts of their opponent. Jordan, Kobe. As a fan, dude, as a Spurs fan, bro, there was nobody I hated more than Kobe Bryant. And you were talking about, dude, I interned.
Rockets fan too. Come on,
bro.
That mid 2000s when the Rockets were always dominating, but they couldn't ever get past the Lakers.
I saw him
Couldn't
though.
never get past.
I saw him prime, dude, just the level of the kind of shit that dude would do.
He's
The man,
a
he
freak,
was
dude. He took Jordan's blueprint
freak.
and took it to different levels. And it's like, his legacy, the fact that he died when he did and he was taken away from this earth sooner than, those kind of things. It really made people look back about just how great that dude was. And it's
Bro.
like, when people, hit a trash basketball shot, they don't say Jordan. No, they say Kobe. Always. And it's like, I don't know. It's like, because Jordan's late 80s, 90s, just God among men.
Yeah.
Then the game evolved really intensely into the 2000s, and Kobe just basically owned the 2000s, for lack of a better word. And now it's a totally different game. You got a lot of greats, but
I would argue it was Kobe and Duncan.
Yeah.
Battling back and forth.
Yeah, but nobody talks.
Lakers.
In the GOAT talks, nobody's putting Duncan top 5, even though he could certainly fit there.
That's because dude, bro, Tim Duncan is the most fucking disrespected fucking all-time great
underrated
ever.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody,
absolutely,
dude,
best power forward.
He's
of
better
all
than
time.
LeBron.
Yeah.
And that's not just me saying that. His record in the finals against LeBron is 2-1, and it's one fucking bullshit Jesus Shuttlesworth 3-pointer from 3-0.
Yeah.
LeBron, dude, never was I scared of him, as a fan, the way that I was scared of Kobe.
Yeah.
When Kobe had the ball in his hands late game and he was playing the Spurs, it terrified you. LeBron has the ball, you're like, he's probably going to fuck
Well,
this
that's
up.
what I was telling him. I always went courtside to all these games, and the first one I did was, Lakers when they had LeBron and Westbrook. And I really like watching Westbrook more, but LeBron, to watch him do his work, it really was amazing. It was no discredit to him, but it's I don't even engage with any of these, basketball arguments because it's all subjective. And you could put up the numbers, you could compare the numbers, you could compare the rings, you could compare all this stuff. But at the end of the day, people like who they like. And you ain't going to convince them. If they think LeBron's a GOAT, you ain't going to convince them otherwise. If they think Jordan's a GOAT, you ain't going to convince them otherwise. So any of those semantics about, people get caught up with a basketball, I just don't even care.
Well,
I
here's
like
the thing,
who I
bro.
like, and that's all.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
Okay.
I love Jordan. But if we switch sports, right? If we said NFL, Brady's the GOAT, right? Brady's the GOAT.
Yeah.
I fucking hate Tom. I don't want to say that he's the GOAT. You know what I am? I'm a fucking legit motherfucker who, I call fair balls and strikes, bro, when it comes to sports. I'll just call anybody out. If you're saying any bullshit to me, if you're even trying to compare LeBron to Jordan, bro, we're not even having this conversation. I can't talk to you, bro.
Exactly. Yeah, but sports, I don't really concern myself with too. I like sports. I've always been
I don't watch
into
them as
the
much as I
NBA.
used to.
I don't really care because people dedicate their whole lives to memorizing stats and who they're gonna get on their fantasy football team, and it's just like, to me, that has no pertinence to my life directly. You know,
Right.
I enjoy it as entertainment. That's what it is. But I don't. People obsess over all the every single stats and detail. And it's like, to me, I've never really been that into it. Music's always. I'd rather know the history of all where this music stuff came from because it's so much more broad than one game of basketball, right?
Right.
You know,
Well, that's
it's
the same reason I'm not into politics. Dude.
Exactly. I don't. I
It's
choose,
literally the same shit.
You know, is like we have the privilege
got
to
teams
be able
and
to
colors
take
and all
the
that.
ignorance is bliss format, which is try to do, because that's all they try to do is just get you emotionally wrapped up in whatever it is, and every day it's something different.
Well, and
So,
that's the issue is that you can't have a dialogue when you're in an emotional state.
yeah.
Like that's why it's the same thing with like being like funny. Like I can't be funny if I care too much about a thing.
Yeah.
That's why like comedy equals tragedy plus time. Very important. Plus time.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
you have to have a level of detachment from all that shit in order to like actually have an opinion that's gonna maybe have
Exactly.
like that I might be like, okay. Because
Yeah. Like I say, I don't concern myself with it because if it doesn't have any direct pertinence to my life, it's
Well, and-
it's
but
like I say,
the
it's
other thing
it's a
too, like-
privilege. Well, I say that's a privilege. You're, a straight middle-aged white male. You can do that. A lot of these people don't have that luxury. Like, sure, I get it.
Yeah.
But were you going to focus on those things and make yourself miserable every day?
Yeah.
Which is what these people do. They get in the tirades of reading every headline, and then they just think the world is crumbling, everything's falling apart, life is miserable, this is a terrible place to live, everything is falling apart. And
Yeah.
I just don't choose to think like that. You can't.
Well,
'Cause
it's
it'll, you know.
yeah. No, my dad called me
think
the other
like
day and he's like, "Did you hear?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "We bombed Iran." I'm like, "Dude,
Yeah,
okay."
yeah. I looked at that headline when I was taking a piss to get on stage at my gig, and I was just showing the dudes like, "All right, guys, it was nice playing with you guys. World War III's just started, you know."
Bro,
Like,
no, I'm like, we bombed an empty bunker.
yeah. So I talked recently.
Did we
with
send Tom Cruise though?
I
Is the
talked
question.
recently with a student.
what I wanna
There's
know.
two students I used to have when I was in elementary school. One of them was 5th grade when I started, and the other's 2 years younger at 3rd grade. These Israeli girls, right, that were in America, right, and now they live in Israel. The older one I think just turned 20. She's now in the Israeli military, like carrying around her M16, just whatever. And I basically asked her directly, like, what's going on over there? Like, what's the state of affairs? What's going on? Because all I know is what the American media is putting it out there. And she just basically said it's not like we're used to it by now, to where like none of our routines or daily lives are changing or affected. Like it's not anywhere near the proportion that the America tries to make it look like, which just tries to make it look like it's an absolute
Dude,
war
I was
zone.
afraid
And
gas
it's
might
like,
get fucked, and even gas, it has actually gone down a little bit since we started bombing
just
Iran.
in general, like I said,
I'm cool with that.
I choose not to even look or engage with any of that stuff. It's like
You have to turn it off.
It'll make you miserable.
You have to turn it off.
Exactly. So I just focus.
But
on
but also, do you
what
not?
makes sense to me, which is music.
Right.
That's all that still makes sense to me in this crazy world we live in. That's the one thing that still makes sense.
Well, it's because it's a universal language
Exactly.
that doesn't know any sort of like prejudices or.
And that's the
It
beautiful
is,
thing about
yeah.
it. Like, for instance, like South by Southwest karaoke latchkey, right?
Yeah.
There's all these people from all nationalities all around the world singing these internationally known pop songs or whatever. And
Right.
everybody's just in harmony and bliss together singing these songs at the top of their lungs. And you got people from Australia, Germany, the UK. Everybody's just there hanging out and enjoying a common communal aspect of singing all these songs that everybody knows all around the world. And that to me is so beautiful. Like, I just love sitting back and watching all these people from all walks of life just sharing this fellowship of this. We're singing these songs together that we all know and enjoy. And that
Unless
to me is
it's
beautiful.
"Wannabe" by Spice Girls. Then.
No, that's my favorite.
Bro.
That's my go-to. Come
Dude,
on, everybody.
White Cotton had like the three, the ones that you hear the most. Friends in Low Places.
Yeah. No,
And then
there's several. There's
Bohemian
good-
Rhapsody.
Yeah, sometimes. A lot of people aren't brave enough.
No.
That's a tough one. Nobody can sing
I don't
that
like
one
doing it
well.
because I want the spotlight, and you sing one like that one, and everybody fucking sings
Yeah,
along
yeah,
with
yeah.
it.
No, there's so many. Like, there's maybe a couple dozen that you're always gonna hear every
Picture.
single karaoke gig. Yeah, that's a
duets.
standard for sure.
Yeah.
Picture and Shallow are the big duets ones. You know.
No,
Everybody's
people
a
talk
go-to.
about you can like Shallow, bro. That's not an easy one.
That's not an easy one either. Yeah.
Dude, my
Like, a
voice
lot of
fucked
girls
right now.
come up and ask, "Will you sing that one with me?" Absolutely. I'll do my little first verse to be great, and then they fold. And
Bro.
it's like everybody's like, yeah, it was so great. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it and encouraging these people. But yeah, that one's not an easy one either. That whole interlude section or whatever. But in general, you see all these sing-song comes up, which I think is brilliant. Of the millions of songs that they have in the world and access to in the library, it's so weird that you see all the same songs come in. That's why I love, like, what is it about this song? Like, What's Up by Four Non-Blondes, right? That What's Going On? Everybody's going to sing along every single time.
25 years and my life is still...
Whatever it is.
You could do that as a guy.
Exactly.
Like, you know what's
No,
you know
we
what's
do it
fun
with the
one is like
weeknights,
as a
too.
guy karaoke singer, like pick one that's like a female song that I can do.
Wannabe, Spice Girls.
Yeah, that's
You can
like
do all
that's
five
always
parts,
that comes
right?
first to mind usually.
Yeah.
No, Cheryl, I've thought about All I Want to Do. I was like, all I want to do.
That one, is not. Like our generation all knows that. I
Yeah.
doubt any of these younger cats will even
Bro,
have
these
heard that
motherfuckers
song,
need
bro.
an education,
That's
and
really
I'm
what it
here
is.
to educate.
and that's why it's important to me to be. In
You know
teaching
me. Well, when
music.
I come out
It's
there, I'm
important
like,
to me, bro.
I appreciate you though, because you'll be like, they're probably not gonna like that. I'll be like, all right.
Yeah, Cody's like, put me in for this song. I'm like, nah, that's
Dude,
not
don't
it,
do
bro.
that.
Don't do
I'm
that
like,
one.
why can't I do my avant-garde?
Pick something different, bro. You're gonna get cut. You're
Well,
gonna get
there's
cut
certain ones though
immediately.
I can do. Like I know, like if I ever do Feeling Good, like which I don't do that
good one.
often because it's not an easy one, and I don't want to. Like I care. Like my voice has to be in the right place.
Yeah.
But like yeah, I'm like, or I get tired of doing certain ones where I'm like, so I know I'm like I try to mix. I want to mix it up.
Of course.
But you got to still keep
same.
some level of
Same
familiarity.
as the host, I'm not going to sing the same hype songs every week. I want to always
Yeah.
try to challenge myself and do new shit too and add the list. Like I have a favorites tab under Care Fun where like I'm always trying to drag and drop new ones. And like
Yeah.
I've never done this one before, but I know I can nail it. And then you try it and nail it. It's like, okay, I'll add that to the list. And all of a sudden you got 100 songs that you can grab back from. That doesn't mean, all of them but a dozen are actually going to be the good ones you continue to do.
Yeah,
right?
are Tuesdays still the cut too? Like
I still did the Sisters
So-
Can Man karaoke.
We did for a minute. Remember that mic where Suarez we were doing the bowl? Fucking, it was the same concept but with comedy.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm like, I support this shit.
Exactly.
Because it's like if you earn
It
it,
should be across the board, bro.
Yeah.
It's like it's painful to have secondhand embarrassment for somebody for 5 minutes, or if it's a 10-minute stand-up set. It's like sometimes the people need to be relieved of the torture they're being put through. And it's like, I cannot stand sitting through a 4-minute song of somebody sounding like complete garbage. Or just-
but fuck
being
that because they'll
obnoxious
cut you
purposely.
too even when you're good. Because I've been fucking
course.
cut before. I'm like,
course.
I'm fucking great, dude.
Yeah, song choice is 80%.
They don't appreciate it, dude. They do
Song
not.
choice is 80%,
It is.
bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
People
Song
can
choice,
sound terrible and the right song, and everybody's gonna sing it for them. They don't even have to sing.
dude.
I
That's
can
what
turn
I'm
the
like.
mic totally off and nobody noticed.
But
You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like, and so that sometimes I have to because they're literally, oh, and the mic is like,
Dude,
dude, what are you doing?
like no
dude,
sense of.
I'm not. Don't even get me started on that, bro. It's like it goes beyond just knowledge of a microphone. It's just people have no common sense about this little magic wand thing they have in their hand and how it works, right?
Yeah.
It blows my mind the things people do or just don't do. And you know why? As somebody pointed out to me, is like it makes a lot of sense. Is because every time you see somebody get on a microphone in a movie, what happens? They stand in front of it. And they back up, right?
Yeah.
And so they it's too hot, right? And that's what immediately everybody goes into and takes the mic and starts singing it with it out here, and it's like, no, it's not going to pick up anything you're doing,
Yeah.
closer. And a lot of times I have to yell closer to people. It's like I can crank
Well,
their
and you
volume
have a
up,
monitor,
but it's always on.
right?
Yeah, it's always on the edge of feeding back. And yeah, that's the other thing. People
You
have
have
it
a
in the
fucking
monitor,
monitor.
and they can't hear that they're way below the music, and nobody can hear
They're
them.
that
Like,
detached from what's happening.
exactly, dude. And it blows
like
my mind. It
that's why I'm like
blows my
this.
mind.
Like, we
Yeah,
could
yeah,
theoretically not, but I'm like, I like to because, I can talk louder. I can sometimes, and
yeah.
if I'm hearing myself, I'll be able to like be more attuned
And
to like
these are the best
keeping
mics
those.
to use for that.
Bro.
So I mean, they're super sensitive.
But
to
it's
that.
like, dude, when I'll sing, like if I come through sometimes, like there's effect too. Like I can pull it away if I'm trying to like create some.
Always.
Like there's if you know how to do those
that's
things,
mic
which
technique,
is,
which you have to understand that nobody, that's just an average singer going for karaoke knows and understands that. But like even that, like I'm saying, man, the common sense, the element of just like it escapes me how some of these are like, do you not like you're completely unaware. You're just not paying attention to anything else around you. They're either so nervous or they're just not realize. And the riding the fader game of being a karaoke host is super, like, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
You'd love to just be able to set a level and leave it, but it's literally every time. Sometimes you have to ride it because, they'll sing a verse and they're way over here, and then all the chorus. They're all of a sudden off to the races, and it's just it's so frustrating sometimes. Most of the times it's just part of the game. Don't worry about it. But other times when I'm not in the mood for it, bro, it really can irritate me.
It's the lack of self-awareness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or just awareness of anything going on around you. It's
Right.
not even the set. Like sometimes they're too focused on the self that they lose all awareness of everything else.
Yeah.
Just not
Which
reading the room.
Probably the alcohol is probably contributing in a lot of cases.
For sure. Exactly.
Yeah. Drinking, I think, just inherently makes people more narcissistic, just more self-centered,
Yeah.
more
Unaware.
less give a fuck about anything
More
else.
unaware,
Yeah, just kind of, exactly.
When I'm
Which-
super observant on these gigs, it's like I
you-
could be having a
you know what kills-
conversation with somebody and hear that we're about to come to an instrumental section that it's time for me to be hype man or make some noise, and I'm having the full conversation, yet I'm totally in the fold of the performance on stage and know when I have to.
Yeah.
The song's about to be over, or when I have to stop this conversation. I can do that and focus on that. But you're right, man. The obliviousness of the general public is funny.
What gets me though
funny,
is when people are not, they're behind, like they're not on time, like they're and I'm like, fuck.
Even white people.
Where
It's
are
always
you
white
listening
people.
to the?
It's literally always white people. I usually
Fuck
never see
white
this
people.
with Hispanic or either no other cultures have that much.
Leave it
lack
to
of
white
rhythm.
people.
Exactly, dude. And I'll help them get back on track.
At our
Sometimes-
best, we're cool, but at our worst, we're
it's-
fucking.
But
the
dude,
worst.
you're right. It's abysmal
It's like
sometimes.
as a person that just there's nothing even out of key. There's
Yeah.
nothing that gnaws at me more than somebody that's not like singing
I'd
out
rather,
of time.
You're right. I'd rather than
Oh
be
my God.
out of key
I'll
and on
sing.
time.
I'll just start singing
than
in time,
on
like
key and
are you
off
listening?
time.
Like because
Yeah.
it's like it'll be off, and dude, sometimes like I'll get off occasionally, but then like as soon as I hear it, I'm
Well, that
I'm
totally
centered
reminds
back
me
in.
of my personal music hierarchy, right? Which is a 3-tier system: time first,
Right.
rhythm second, pitch third. Time is the most important. Everybody on the same steady beat or feeling the same pulse, right?
Yeah.
Rhythm is the next thing that's important to line up, and then pitch is after that. And it's like because you could play all the wrong pitches in time and in rhythm, and it's gonna sound like something. It might not sound consonant to the human ear and pleasing, but you can sing all the right notes and do all the right stuff, but with no pulse or no sense of rhythm, it's going to sound like noise, right? And so to me, that's the hierarchy: time first, rhythm second, pitch third, and that's what I focus on with my students too, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids, don't, I think it's the same as like if they don't have it by like 8 years old, it's very hard to cultivate it, like a sense of steady beat or just being able to hold and maintain a steady pulse, right?
Yeah.
And that's a thing that's a lost thing. And what comes down to that is because a lot of the elementary music level, primary grade school teachers are all choir background usually, whether it's male or female is disproportionate, but they focus so much on singing and being able to sing beautifully, they don't ever focus on beat and rhythm. And then these kids get to 6th grade and join band or choir and they can't keep a steady beat. And then you have a whole other sense of problems on your hands you got to work with as a director to fix that. But they say there's a window, I think it's by 8 years old, if you don't have some kind of sense of steady beat, it's very difficult to develop it after that.
Yeah,
it takes extreme
interesting.
focus.
I didn't
know what
even
mean?
start playing until I was 11.
Yeah.
But like at that point,
I didn't start playing like seriously until I had a drum set when I was like 7, and like
And now you have
just, like,
7
to make
drum
noise, I have
sets.
7. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy.
That's fine. Bro, do you think you might have a problem, bro?
No, absolutely.
Are you
not.
sure?
Yeah. Well, if I
Fucking,
do,
and they're dope, dude.
if I do, it's gear acquisition syndrome.
Bro,
Gear acquisition syndrome.
you should pull up that one what was the one that got shared on, and who shared it?
DW Drums.
Pull up his
the
Instagram.
Apple of the drumming world.
Austin,
man.
dude, that kid looks nice.
That was the most. That was the most. Because I've been tagging them for years on my stories, and sometimes they'll see it, sometimes they'll like it, but this time they actually reached out like, "Hey, send us this. We want to feature you on our feed." And I'm like, "Let's go." At least they actually know who I am now, which might eventually lead to me becoming an artist on the roster one day. Hopefully, that's a big goal. I don't want to just endorse anybody. I want to endorse what I like, which is DW Drums.
Yeah, and honestly, bro, you say big goal. Like, dude, I would say that's an achievable goal. I mean, I know a couple of dudes that have
exactly.
sponsors, like fucking Atkins. James Atkins.
Yeah. Who does he play? He's a Yamaha.
I think Renee Lopez has sponsored, like cymbal sponsor.
No, there's a lot
but
of
different sponsors, maybe not like cymbals or.
But yeah, I want the big ones. I want it's like I could go for some of the smaller boutique brands because my social media presence or whatever. But it's like what they really want to see is, are you with an artist that has a lot of streams or is touring a lot, that has you're playing for somebody who's gonna actually have these drums heard and seen in many environments, right? And now I'm playing with Timothy Howells, which is the guitar player of the Plain White T's, right? And the Plain White T's drummer, that's what he plays, DW, and it was his big goal for that. And we're growing a lot with that band as far as our opportunities. And we opened up for John Michael Montgomery last month, and then Neil McCoy earlier.
Nice.
So we're getting a lot more cool opportunities with that. So hopefully, if that original music project continues to build, that could be.
And that's original. That project.
Yeah. They won't give you any endorsements for being a cover band.
Well, that's your love of the game gig, or that would
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I was kind of referring to, is like I like trying to make his dreams and visions happen and contribute to that, because he is a vetted rock star. He's been all around the world and back. He's still touring with the Plain White T's and making buku bucks with that band that was popular when I was in high school. Like, I watched the Hey There Delilah music video while I was getting ready for like my freshman year of high school. And now that I'm playing with the dude in his original group is like, it's mind blowing to me. But yeah, that
Baker
would be
is his last name.
That would
Austin
be my
Baker.
That would be my ticket in, if there's gonna be any. So it's like, that's never really been the focus. I just like what I like and I play what I play. Oh, point one. Okay.
Where is it? Scroll down.
Go down a little bit. It's just a drum set.
This is our promo section of the podcast. Yeah. No, dude.
A little bit more.
And,
right there. That's
and you,
DW
dude,
drums.
yeah.
That's
dude,
my gigging kit.
That's fucking
That is
pretty.
the Frequent Flyer kit and Tobacco Burst. And that is the best gigging kit on the market, hands down. I've tried them all. The compact kits of all the different brands.
It's kind of jazzy. It's a little
the best
smaller.
Well, no, they said that's the thing. It has a 20-inch bass drum, 20 by 12. All the other compact kits have an 18 or a 16, and I can't do it. That's too small for me for a lot of the gigs. That little bitty 20-inch bass drum works for any gig I put it on, bro, and it sounds huge. And it's like I say, it's all maple. It's
and the
all
guitar and the bass.
All that stuff, man. Just trying to grind it out. Just have fun, get creative on whatever I can, but... Yeah, it's like, getting attention from the biggest drum brand in the world is like, obviously, like was such a euphoric.
Well, I mean,
thing
you've
like.
built your your presence, your social media presence. I mean, it's nothing to slouch at, bro. I mean, and it's like that creates more opportunity.
Exactly. And it's crazy what has happened to me in my career because I have a big number next to my name. And to me, it is kind of crazy. I see it as all a joke.
Yeah.
Like to me, I see it as like a video game, right?
Yeah.
The way I see it, a lot of people go on and spend, hours a day on their video game, leveling up their Night Elf Rogue or some other whatever that has no specific, implications to their lives, right? I see all of these profiles, whether it's my YouTube channel, Facebook, the TikTok stuff, as basically a video game character to level up. It's your online personality that you are continuing to try to build, and that will lead to more opportunities and lead to more success for you. Because like I said, I've been able to talk to some of my heroes in drumming, right? Like that I watched the DVDs of or watch on YouTube, like religiously watch these guys play, and now we're friends on Instagram. They follow me and like my stuff on Instagram. To me, that's mind-blowing. All because they probably would, like when I messaged them and they responded, to think they probably wouldn't even responded if I had like 500 followers, right? If they clicked on me and said, whatever, but they click on that and see a big number, they think, this guy might be worth my time to respond to. And then all of a sudden, you're connected with them. They see your stuff and you see theirs, and you've had conversations back and forth with people that you used to just love.
Let's
now they see you as a peer.
Let's just be real. It's a social credit score.
Exactly what it is.
Because if it's legit, like you didn't buy your followers, so it's like you've organically grown your shit. So that is social proof. Yeah. That is 100%.
It's an immediate way to prove you're vetted, right? Yeah. If somebody wants me to teach their children, or somebody wants to hire me to play drums or book me for karaoke, you don't need a LinkedIn. You don't need a resume. You give them a link to your Instagram. That should tell them everything they need to know. Yep. Instagram for entertainers is the new LinkedIn. Right?
Yeah.
Somebody should be able to click on your page and see exactly what you're about and what you do, and to see that you're very competent at what you do. If not, you're using it for all the wrong things,
Yeah.
And like I said, I find it as like a hobby. I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch TV. I don't play video games. I try to, if I get sitting around and get bored, I try to find a way to be creative, make a quick video, post it. Have fun, share it. It's good, and it makes it's enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
And it challenges me to like you said, we talked about earlier. I'm not practicing anymore. I'm creating and playing. Whether it's just a short idea that I want to refine, and to be original and keep myself come up with new things and new ideas. That's a great way to do it because you're not going to post the same like if I did an Afro-Cuban 6/8 a couple days ago, I'm not going to go back and do more.
Also to
like,
keep yourself sane,
yeah,
too.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Keeps me just trying new things and finding new ways to explore things I wouldn't normally do or play. I don't know. It keeps the creative juices.
I'll still go take a lesson every now and then just to like get a checkup. Essentially, hey, how's my technique look? Like
exactly.
That's
just important. That's important to do. I mean, I've reached out to a lot of people in this town about that I admire like on guitar to like try to take guitar lessons from because like I want to learn, even if it's just one. Like give me some stuff or materials to shoot me in the direction of growth and improvement. Even if it's just one lesson. You know what I'm saying? And drums would be the same way. I mean, my old drum instructor was Butch Miles at Texas State. He's the Count Basie Band's drummer for over 10. He's like a pioneer of big band drumming. Like he was good friends with John Bonham, Buddy Rich, and all those guys. And like he was in that vein of like legendary status. And like it was so amazing to me that for 3 years I was able to week after week sit drum set to drum set with him in the practice room and hear stories about Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Duke Ellington, and all these people he's played with. And it's like you're sitting next to a Yoda of drums, and it's like rest in peace. He passed in 2022, but like I was some of the last students he was able to teach before he retired because of all the health issues. And it's like that to me is just mind blowing and now I have one of his flat rides that was the Count Basie Band flat ride for many years that his wife gifted to me that. So I literally have like a relic because I was one of Butch's favorite students. And it was like, to me, that just means so much to me that he holds me in high regard because that dude is like, he was so incredible. And like, that's why I went to Texas State in the first place because I had to find a university with an instructor that I really, really wanted to get under. And then they had the salsa program as well. So it was
you have a degree in music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bachelor in Music Education from Texas State. So I went to community college.
My bro was in the program. He was on drumline at Texas State.
Yes.
But like when it was still
is one thing, but the School of Music is a whole other thing,
it's a solid, it's a good school of music.
There's only about 300 to 400 people in that building at any time versus the 40,000 people in that campus. And so like when people ask, oh, you go to Texas State, do you know my daughter who went there? I was like, no, I don't. Like if she's not in the music building, I don't leave the music building. This is where, so you're in this little niche department that is very difficult and cutthroat to get into. And then on top of that, it's cutthroat to get into these ensembles and be able to become, one of the top dogs in that little studio, which is such a, weird, thing that people don't understand what it's like to be like a major in the arts. And it's literally like your course
Whiplash.
load is about, it's that's kind of an over dramatized version of that's exactly what it is. It requires that level of dedication and practice.
But and there are, I mean, those guys like that. What is J.K. Simmons' character's name in the movie? I can't remember. Whatever it is, whoever he is, Fletcher.
Yep.
Fletcher. That guy exists in a more than one music school in this country.
He's just not throwing chairs at you.
Yeah,
He'd immediately lose his
but
position,
it's like intimidate the fuck out of you.
That's
energy.
Their whole model. Yeah,
yeah.
That's their whole personality and whole premise. And when you're in it, you're kind of like skeptical and like thinking, oh, you think a certain way, but then when you're out of it, and you look back in retrospect, you're like, I understand. I get it. My professor was Gennaro Gonzalez. That was my percussion professor. He's the principal percussionist of the Austin Symphony, has been for decades, right? And he's that one dude that he didn't teach me one thing the whole time I was there. He assigned me my work, and he sat there in his chair with his clipboard and just had me play it. And he comes from that school of thought that you either play the notes on the damn page or you don't. There's no gray area. You make it happen. You give it, because he's a symphonic background, right? And he's one of those dudes. Yeah, when you'd hear his hard sole shoes coming, and you could smell him from a mile away too. He's really strong cologne. He has such a powerful presence that everybody just. Once he walked in the room, it was like everybody straighten up and fly right. And he created that. And I used to hate the fact that I'm paying all this money to come to this school and be in your program. You're not teaching me anything. All the other teachers are so hands-on. But looking back, I was like, I understand. He teaches you to teach yourself.
It's like Phil Jackson, bro.
You have to teach.
Don't call timeout.
He teaches you to teach yourself. In the real world, when you get an assignment, you can't just call somebody up and say, how would you stick this measure? Or what would you do in this part? No, you have to figure it out your damn self, because that's all.
Well, it's like, first show me you're competent.
Yeah. And that comes
Right.
from teaching
And then-
yourself and
yeah.
believing in yourself and your abilities to navigate any stressful situation in the music world, right?
Yeah.
And so there's something about degree holding musicians versus that ones that don't, right? I mean, that's not to say that degree holding professionals are better than anybody else who's put their time and experience on the street. But what I find is that school of thought and that kind of just like boot camp style of attention to detail in your music instruction for many years in a row of just grinding to the level of grind you would never, think is possible, that when you come out of that, there's a certain level of expertise and experience and a seriousness and sincerity to what you do and how much you value it that you just don't see in people who have never experienced that intense, rigorous music school kind of thing. Like it's a level of professionalism they instill in there, whether it's like the things I've learned from academia that have nothing to do with the actual drum set world or the actual entertainment world or the karaoke world. All those things I've been able to apply and use to my advantage to separate me from other people on the tier where people hold me in higher regard to that. And it's because of the fundamental mentality and mindset things of a professional musician that they instill in you and make you fall into, as otherwise you won't make it. They won't let you through the program if you ain't showing up with that kind of rigor and ferociousness every single day.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you still do that for 4 years, you come out just an absolute juggernaut. Like I will never be in the prime that I was, that my senior recital level of like, a whole hour of just me and the marimba, timpani, xylophone solos and just like basically instruments I never play anymore, but was really good at for a certain time. And it's just
Symphonic.
like my chops were just on next level. And now it's less about chops and for me and more about like musicality. And am I serving the people that hire me to the right degree? Am I giving them what they want as a drummer or as the role they're doing? Whether it's like an entertainer at the bar, am I keeping people there and buying drinks and enjoying themselves by creating a vibe, or am not? And if I'm not, I won't likely continue to work there or want to work there. Like I like to feel like I'm doing something that's helping and contributing. And if I'm just doing something for a paycheck and nobody's engaging to what you're doing, I'm over it. I don't want to be there. I'd rather like that the money I'm making from this gig is not worth me suffering the boredom of playing for 4 hours with nobody paying attention to anything you're doing. It doesn't do it for me anymore. And so I only take the ones that I know are going to be exciting and fun filled and also going to be lucrative enough to be worth my time. Right?
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful position to be in. It's
Fuck
to
yeah.
weed out the
Fuck
$100
yeah, it
a
is.
man or $150 a man gigs that everybody's so happy to take around town and subjects themselves to. And it's sad to see like these really talented musicians taking a lot less than they deserve just because they want to or they're willing to. And then that becomes the standard of the pay for everyone. And we all have to suffer because these other people taking $100 man gigs or even less to play a long gig for $75. It's like, to me, that was when I was 18. And if I'm still doing that when I'm, 35, that to me is like, I would not feel good about myself for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. You just have to have musicians out there. You should have more self-respect to not take these gigs that aren't going to be worth your time or efforts. You put a lot into this.
Comedians too.
Exactly. Your ROI, your return of investment of all the time, money, and stuff you put into this, which is why I have 7 drum sets. It's like this all goes back. It's like it really does full circle because it's like I have 7 drum sets not only because I love drums, I'm a collector, is because they all have a purpose, and I can afford to spend the money on that because I'm out there making money with this stuff. And I'm then, it was like, you see the people with the, $5,000 DW kit and all the best stuff, and they never leave their house with their drums. And it's just like, what? How are you if you're not, like, you can afford to spend the money on the gear to give you the sound you want if you're out there making money with it. Or even if you're not using that. And it's like, so I have 7 for the fact that I have 4 DWs and 3 Ludwigs, right? The 4 DW, I have Baby Bear, Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and then Grandma's like kind of whatever. So the Baby Bear is like a little living room kit. It's more of a decoration, an accent piece. The Low Pro and like a white marine pearl, it's more for looks, right?
Yeah.
Then I have the gigging kit you saw.
Right.
Love that. It's the best gigging kit in the market. That stays in the cases in the front closet to be loaded in the car, and that never leaves the cases, right? Then I have the big acrylic kit. Purely for aesthetic reasons for, with the uplights and looks really cool on all the videos. Right? Then I have the Big Guns Tiffany blue kit, which is a Spurs color that I like the same color as that hat kind of thing. It's like that I bring out for the big Spurs games or on the big stages where I need a little bit something more powerful than that, right? So I'm only going to be seen playing DW live is what I decided. Like I don't want to play but for as far as in the studio.
Did you hear
Ludwig,
that, DW? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
DW, are you listening?
But as far as in the studio, Ludwig. I've always been Ludwig
Word.
for that class. They have the best. To me, I think they make some of the best drums on the planet. They're American made. I love the classic maple. So I have my big classic maple kit too. That is a totally different sound than the acrylic kit in the other. And then I have an old Ludwig that I've had for 15 years that the students play on because I don't care if it gets scratched up or beat up.
Fuck this kid.
And then I have the little pocket kit for like the younger kids who can't reach the pedals, right? So and it's like so each of them have a purpose, right?
Yeah.
And if they don't have a purpose, like I basically weeded out all the ones that I don't like absolutely love. Like if I don't absolutely love with it, I can get rid of it. I can sell it. But like there's been the ones I'm to the point now where there won't be another drum set that's gonna like tickle my fancy enough that I'm gonna sell another one to get this one because I love all the ones I have so much.
I think 7's good.
7's great.
Like if you
6
ever
is
got a
not
new
enough.
one, you would want to swap one out. So like
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I won't let myself buy another one unless
Yeah.
I get rid of one I already have. So then with the ones I already have, I love so much that I cannot see another drum set coming into the picture.
Now
that
you
will
can just do
justify.
heads. Just change
Yeah,
heads.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so each head's like for the Ludwigs, I have just coated ambassadors all around for that just open, wide open American sound, right? And I have the clear 2-ply heads on the DW acrylic for everything clear, everything real punchy, drive it. Like they each have their own personality and sound and timbre and look. So it's like aesthetic is huge for me. Like people hear an instrument with their eyes before they hear it with their ears. So it's like, I want something, especially the drums are centerpiece of the stage. I want something that when people walk in and go look at the stage, like, wow. I want them to immediately say, look at that thing on stage.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. Look
matters.
at that. It's beautiful. Why? And it's also the same for me. Every time I pull them out of the cases and set them up on stage and see them in that light, I'm like, wow, these drums are so beautiful. Even those ones you just put up there, it's like every time I set them up and they're in the right stage lighting, I'm like, look at those things.
Yeah.
Even though I've been playing that kit for about 3 years now. I got them in 2022, but like it's still just crushing it. It's the best gigging kit in the market, but it's still every time I set it up, I'm like, God, you're gorgeous. Look at those drums. You know, it's
feel
like
like,
that's what I need to feel like with my gear. If you're not playing gear that does that to you, you're playing the wrong gear.
Yeah.
Right? That's the way. If you don't
Agreed.
pay attention to details, why care at all? You know what I mean? And so like. And that's really the thing.
That's why it's gotten you where you are, man.
Exactly.
There's that attention to detail, bro.
And same with guitars. Today I'm looking at a new guitar I want to buy, but I would have to sell another guitar to get that guitar because I already. It's like so. It's always like so. It goes
You're
back
at your
to
equipment limit.
You say, do I have a problem? It's like no. It's called gear acquisition syndrome. I love that term.
Hey.
And to me, it's not about the gear. It's about the hunt. And
All right.
to me, and it's like, and somebody said that too, and I was like, that's really what it is too. You see something else, and it's like, especially our marketplace.
All I
in
know is
Austin,
if I ever
Texas.
need a piece of gear to borrow, I'm fucking calling you, bro.
Exactly. I got you, man.
Yo.
I got you. But
Yo,
it's
give
like,
me a fucking. I need a clap stack. That's what I
Facebook
need.
Marketplace in Austin,
Yeah.
Texas is a gold mine of people getting ready to stuff, and you can just lowball the crap out of them.
Yep.
And then they meet you somewhere in the middle, and you get some amazing instrument for just like a crazy price, something that they don't even make anymore, discontinued, and now that's where I'm at. Now I have all the gear I want, where I've kind of reached that point where I can't justify anything else unless I get rid of something else, and that's a tough decision to make. So. And it's took a long time, but now, and everything I have has a purpose. So like that's, if it doesn't have a purpose and it just sits there, then I sell it. Like, don't need it.
And you're white, dude.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
Bro, we quick hour here. But dude, I just want to say, cause since we're kind of out of time here, but I appreciate everything you did. That's why I wanted you to come on. So thank you for stopping in, man.
Absolutely.
And yeah, just for anybody listening, Latchkey on Tuesdays if you're in Austin.
Latchkey Tuesday, 9:30 to 1, and then Augustine on Sundays on Rainy Street, 7 to 10. That's my other karaoke residencies. And Friday, Saturday nights, I'm all over the city.
Augustine's on Rainy?
Texas. Yeah.
On what day?
Sunday, 7 to 10.
Oh, okay.
That's like a late evening kind of one. That one's a great one, too. It's
all
fun.
right.
So those are my two karaoke residencies. Fridays and Saturday nights, you'll find me all over Central Texas playing wherever they'll pay me enough, basically. Yeah. And so, and I'm just teaching lessons
Instagram,
on all the
Austin Baker. Is Austin Baker?
Austin Baker TX.
TX.
Yep. All one word.
Yeah.
And then on all the other platforms, Mr. Baker the Music Maker. All my like online music education stuff for
if you're
kids
getting married,
is on YouTube.
If you're getting married.
Yeah.
No,
I'll entertain all your patrons,
bro,
and give you the best wedding ever,
dude.
Exactly. Guaranteed.
Yeah. And he knows how to work a mic.
That's right. It's half the battle, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Bro, yeah. Well, thanks, bro. We'll have to get you back again sometime in the future, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Good to see you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Absolutely.